special movie presentation, The Four Seasons and The Jeffersons will not be televised this evening. Both comedies will return next Sunday at their regular times on most of these stations.
This portion of Star Wars is sponsored by Lincoln Mercury, offering a complete range of quality automobiles for 1984. The distinctive Mercury Cougar and the Mercury Topaz.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well.
If you've been seeing more Mercury Cougars lately, there's a very good reason. Last year, sales were up over 500%.
I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Mercury Cougar. Why not see your next one at your Lincoln Mercury dealer?
Now, it's here. The excitement, the adventure of a new force at breakfast.
We'll call them C-3POs.
New C-3PO cereal from Kellogg's. Twin rings, phased together. For 2 crunches in every double O. A delicious part of this nutritious breakfast. Now you can experience the taste of Kellogg's C-3POs. A crunchy new force at breakfast.
May the force be with you.
Ready? Go!
Peanut butter.
Chocolate. Here it comes. You missed. Faster. Get out of the way. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Your peanut butter hit my chocolate. Your chocolate hit my peanut butter.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Real milk chocolate, delicious peanut butter. 2 great tastes that taste great together.
Reese's. Yeah.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Star Wars about a dozen times.
Ho visto Star Wars 16 volte.
17 times.
Star Wars, 22回見ました.
34.
40 times, and it was great each time.
41 Mal.
About 57 times.
69 fois.
You can never get too much of Star Wars. I've seen the first Star Wars 153 times.
Altogether, we have seen Star Wars 324 times.
May 1977. A legion of fans are already waiting when Star Wars opens at Hollywood's legendary Chinese theater. Similar record-breaking crowds gather at the openings in Australia and England. Eager moviegoers rewrite the record books around the world as George Lucas's science fiction adventure becomes an unprecedented international phenomenon. There has indeed been nothing like it in the history of the movies. You are about to become part of the phenomena of Star Wars. In a few minutes, you'll see a movie that's become more than just a movie. For 7 years now, it's been part of my life, and the saga it's given birth to has touched the lives of millions of others. It has a magic, Star Wars. That magic doesn't lie only in its brilliant special effects. Its power derives from its spirit of romance and adventure. It's like the movies and cliffhanging serials of the past. It's an exciting and very special fantasy. And when it came out, the world went instantly Star Wars crazy. In the modern world, success can't be confined to one medium. It spills over into every area of our lives. And so it was from the very beginning with Star Wars. It spawned more Star Wares than anyone could count. Its creatures, its music, its models, it permeated our culture. Within minutes, it seems, collectors were vying to be the first to own the newest Star Wars product. But after 3 movies, the title of champion collector probably must go to the Steuben family of New Kensington, Pennsylvania. The Steubens seem to live, breathe, and eat Star Wars. The collection is said to be worth over $15,000. But what value can be placed on the affection the world beamed to the film's 2 metallic megastars? R2-D2 and C-3PO were in the forefront of the honors bestowed on the picture. While they got to make their indelible impressions in the cement outside Hollywood's Chinese theater, the movie collected innumerable awards, including 6 coveted Oscars. But perhaps the true measure of the film's success can be taken by assessing its power to touch the lives of its viewers. It isn't so much that the film set box office records wherever it played, but rather that it played such a large role in the lives of many who came to see it. They came and they waited for Star Wars and for each of the 2 sequels that followed. In city after city across America, the same scenario was repeatedly played out.
People will camp out overnight to see the Rose Parade. And this is worth at least 3 times as good as the Rose Parade, so we're here for 3 times as long.
We've been here for 6 days and it's great!
Some even got married in Star Wars movie lines and spent their honeymoons inside at the movies. George Lucas, at the time, explained the fascination with Star Wars.
I think one of the key factors in the success is that it's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch.
The message of Star Wars reached out beyond the movie when President Reagan sent a telegram to Sally Ride aboard the Challenger saying, "May the Force be with you." Even Walter Cronkite, the eminence grise of America's space communication network, visited George Lucas in his intergalactic workshop. Take this little tiny section down here at the... Cronkite, in a television special, commented on the possible lasting impact of Star Wars.
To this scale.
The complicated mixture of sophisticated technology, space-age machinery, and starry-eyed fantasy in today's science fiction films just may serve as inspiration for a coming generation of scientists.
Once it was released, the impact of Star Wars was obviously great. But during the making of it, none of us had the slightest idea of what was to come. We were making a movie, and we were enjoying it. Harrison Ford was asked at the time how much fun it was.
It was a lot of fun. How much fun? About this much.
And even more. More fun to make, and much, much more fun to watch. And now, what has to be one of the most extraordinary moments in movie history, the beginning of the Star Wars saga.
I dug R2, and I think he was my hero in Star Wars.
Tonight, for the first time on national television, Warner Brothers gives you a preview look at a spectacular motion picture coming to theaters March 30th.
In 1886, following a shipwreck off the west coast of Africa, an infant child became part of a family of apes. As he grew, he learned the laws of the jungle and eventually claimed the title Lord of the Apes.
You have another family when you have never seen.
My son has returned from Africa.
He is the Earl of Greystoke. He is what the jungle has made him.
Now, the director of Academy Award winner Chariots of Fire brings the authentic Tarzan legend to the screen. Greystoke, the legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. Greystoke, the legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes.
Half of me is the of Greystoke. The other half is wild.
At theaters everywhere on March 30th. Rated PG.
Last year, over 2 million people got something of a surprise in the mail. Their first taste of NutraSweet. In, of all things, a gumball. What's NutraSweet? It's a sweetening ingredient that isn't fattening. A sweetening ingredient that isn't artificial like saccharin. Isn't bad for your teeth. Tastes just like sugar. And sounds just too good to be true. That's why we mailed out all those free gumballs.
Howdy, Marge. What you got with NutraSweet?
Taste it for yourself in products like these. NutraSweet, the sugar-free taste of sugar.
The first time I saw Star Wars, I was struck by the fact that R2-D2 and C-3PO reminded me a lot of Laurel and Hardy. You know, what a fine mess we're always getting into.
Safety isn't something to fool around with. So as impressive as it may be that this Mercury Topaz can safely handle this stringent government test, it's just one of many safety standards that Topaz either met or surpassed. We invite you to find out firsthand the kind of thinking that went into the 1984 Topaz. From Mercury.
Scott Mason, spokesman for Act Fluoride Rinse from Johnson & Johnson. Scott's saying kids still get cavities, even with brushing. But Act Fluoride Rinse could cut them 40% more. A squeeze gives you just the right amount. Good point. The American Dental Association recommends a fluoride rinse daily, even for adults. Just ask Scott's dad. Well put, gentlemen. The best thing to happen to teeth in 25 years.
Another breakthrough in computer price and performance from Radio Shack. The sale-priced TRS-80 Model 4. It's fast, easy to use, has a large display, and is compatible with thousands of programs. And now at $200 off, Model 4's built-in features, power, and versatility give you the most for your money. The sale-priced TRS-80 Model 4 from $799 to $1999. Only at Radio Shack and Radio Shack Computer Centers. The computer experts.
Do you know what Kit Kat has in store for you? Those light, crispy wafers smothered in rich, creamy chocolate. Kit Kat, the chocolate bar so good. You roar. Kit Kat, the crispy chocolate bar so good you roar.
Say, a funny thing happened when I started to play Congo Bongo. Hey, these nuts are crazy. Who are these guys? Hey, fellas, let's not get carried away. Oh, no. Maybe I'll go for a swim. On second thought, maybe I'll go for a walk. Hey, lady, this is a one-way street. Hey, that's the guy I've been looking for.
Congo Bongo. Buy it now and save $5 on Star Trek or Buck Rogers. Now that should put a smile on your face.
Monday, Scarecrow and Mrs. King have dealt themselves into a dangerous game of...
Selling rockets.
To the enemy. It's gonna blow.
Say what?
I said it's gonna blow. And on Aftermash, what's Father Mulcahy doing in a Fleabag hotel?
All I want is some peace of mind.
Then...
You're a wreck.
Will a very nervous Kirk tie the knot on Newhart?
I know how to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
And Tom finally expresses his desire to Maggie.
Will you marry me?
On Emerald Point, Monday night.
This is CBS.
This is the News 7 News Break, sponsored by Stop and Shop.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Larry Sales. Here's some of the stories we're following for News 7's Night Beat. The Coast Guard seized a fishing vessel off the coast of New Hampshire. It was carrying at least 5 tons of marijuana worth about $5 million. The 7-man crew was arrested. The unique element about this drug bust was that Coast Guard photographers recorded the whole capture on film. The New Hampshire primary is just 2 days away, and already there's at least one surprise. A new poll shows Walter Mondale with a solid hold on first place with 38%, but the big surprise shows Gary Hart running a strong second with 24%. The poll was conducted by the Washington Post and ABC News. Crime and tragedy on the streets of Boston this morning. An 18-year-old Newton man is under arrest after allegedly hitting a man with his car and then dragging the body several miles. Police arrested Andrew Fruman and charged him with vehicular homicide. The U.S. Marines ended their 17-month peacekeeping mission in Beirut today. As the last Americans left their airport base, U.S. warships began firing at Drew's rebel targets. Now this message.
At Stop and Shop, we double the value of all your coupons. And savings like that really add up. It's time to Stop and Shop.
The USFL opened its second season today. In one contest, a record crowd of 62,000 came out to see New Jersey beat Birmingham 17-6. New Jersey has Herschel Walker, Joe Cribbs, and Brian Sipe on its roster. In college basketball, 2 top-ranked teams and 2 rivals hooked up, but Louisville lost out to DePaul 73-63. John Dennis will have all the sports, including Celtics highlights against the Phoenix Suns. Meteorologist Art Horn says, may the force be with us on Tuesday. Some foul weather is on the way. Join us for Night Beat following Star Wars.
I need it tomorrow. I don't care what it costs.
I need it tomorrow.
Business people under pressure to get urgent packages fast.
I don't care what it costs.
Often act without thinking.
I need it tomorrow.
But now, UPS Next Day Air gets it here in the morning for about half the cost. Just think, up to 50% less than the competition.
Sure, I need it tomorrow. But I do care what it costs. Send it UPS Next Day Air.
UPS Next Day Air. We save you money from the ground up. Now with morning delivery.
Move over, you're crowding me. Make way for the new WCOZ radio. The new COZ at 94.5 FM plays the most popular songs, from Hall & Oates to Lionel Richie, Paul McCartney to Michael Jackson. Ooh, COZ, I love you. So next time you're in the mood for some great music, turn to WCOZ Radio, 94.5 FM. Come on down and hear us sometime.
Inside the Pages of People, Monday at 7:30.
Pepsi. For a refreshing taste time after time, it's Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
When Star Wars first opened, it had such an impact on my house. Not only did my son love the movie, but he was so fascinated with the special effects, weren't we all? It inspired a whole new generation of filmmakers.
Fetch, boy.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
This tumble crew has a plan, and they begin by digging into those in every Kellogg's pack. Keep them coming back for 2 scoops of plump, juicy raisins in Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Hooked up and in command, they're working now, but they're thinking how they love and Golden Flakes of bran. They're turning back again for 2 scoops of plump, juicy raisins in Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
But in the 1984 Mercury Topaz, we didn't. Consider for a moment how this door meets the roof. It actually becomes a part of the roof, resulting in a solid fit and improved aerodynamics. We invite you to find out firsthand the kind of thinking that went into the 1984 Topaz. From Mercury.
Live Tuesday, the 26th Annual Grammy Awards. Join Irene Cara, Julio Iglesias, Melissa Manchester, Linda Ronstadt, Donna Summer, the Oak Ridge Boys, and host John Denver. Who will win the recording industry's highest honors? Watch music history being made live Tuesday, the 26th Annual Grammy Awards.
This is CBS.
Who delivers more small truck value? Toyota delivers more standard horsepower than Ranger, S10, or Mazda. Toyota delivers more standard payload than Ranger or S10. Toyota delivers their standard 4x4 for $697 less than Datsun. Only Toyota delivers electronic fuel injection with their two-wheel drive sport trucks. Not Ranger, S10, Datsun, or Mazda. Get more truck for your buck now at your New England Toyota dealer. He delivers value.
There is a spirit that is America at its best. A spirit of excellence. A spirit of neighbor helping neighbor. From the heart of this spirit comes John Glenn's message.
Thank you
saying, let's set goals. Let's reach for greatness. Today we hope, but we want to believe. When you listen to John Glenn, you know we can.
I need your support. Together we can change the future of this country.
John Glenn for president. Believe in the future again.
Tons of pot seized, the story on Night Beat.
Han Solo has a way of getting into and out of trouble. The only problem is his mouth. The more he opens it, the more trouble he gets himself into.
How well a car handles is directly related to the way it responds to its driver. With Mercury Topaz, we combine front-wheel drive and four-wheel independent suspension to put the road back where it belongs, in the hands of the driver. We invite you to experience the 1984 Topaz for yourself. From Mercury.
Touch it. Feel the sensation that women from the Orient have known for centuries. Silk.
Today, there's a pantyhose that looks and feels just like silk. Sheer elegance. Sheer elegance. The same silky smooth feel on your skin, the same shimmering look on your legs. Silky enough to charm a samurai. Sheer elegance pantyhose by Leg. Sheer elegance.
Till now, the only way to get really fresh-tasting spaghetti sauce was to grow your own vegetables. Introducing Ragu Chunky Garden-Style Spaghetti Sauces, the chunkiest, freshest-tasting sauces we ever put in a jar. Bursting with the garden-fresh taste of chunky tomatoes, tender mushrooms, crunchy green peppers, sweet onions. Good sauce. New Ragu Chunky Garden Style in 3 garden-fresh varieties. That's Italian.
Laura, who drank all the Pepsi?
And don't tell me it was some strange creature from another planet either, okay?
Yes, Mom.
Can anyone resist the sparkling taste of Pepsi? Anyone?
Take it easy on the Pepsi. Okay? I'm sorry.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Premiering opening Sunday, March 4th.
Well, here we are.
Suzanne Plachette is Maggie Briggs.
Our new home.
A lady journalist who can keep a confidential story behind closed doors.
Maggie Briggs does not leak.
Say hello to a modern-day reporter always after a news scoop.
Hey, guys.
Suzanne Plachette is Maggie Briggs. Premieres Sunday, March 4th.
I know.
This is CBS.
I'm going to show you an amazing card trick. Amazing, because it can only be done with these cards. Only Citibank cards give you the bonus of Citi dollars every time you use them. Good for big savings on color TVs, cordless phones, even a cruise. For the bonus of Citi dollars, get a Citibank MasterCard or Visa card. That'll do the trick. Citibank. It pays to use our cards.
This is a News 7 News Break, sponsored by WHTT Hit Radio.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Larry Sales. Democratic presidential candidate Walter Mondale is already the front-runner, as you know, and tonight, Mondale got an endorsement from Boston Mayor Ray Flynn. According to a new poll conducted by the Washington Post and ABC News, Gary Hart is running a strong second with 24%. The USFL opened its second season today. 62,000 watched New Jersey beat Birmingham 17-6. Join us at 11 for Night Seat.
103 FM, Hit Radio. WHTT, playing the hits and only the hits. Hit Radio.
Countdown to New Hampshire, tonight on News 7.
When I first saw Star Wars, I was very proud of the fast-shooting, straight-talking Princess Leia. But then why not? I'm Princess Leia's mother.
So how come you didn't invite me?
Nobody was invited. They just showed up.
Aren't you wondering why I didn't show up?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
When did you start drinking this?
Since they improved it.
Oh, now it's got NutraSweet.
Yeah.
It's good.
So, let's go over to Freddie's house.
Okay, but here's why I didn't show up.
Taste. Improved by Diet Pepsi.
Just because the phone company's changing, do I have to change the AT&T phone that's in my home? I mean, why change something that works as good as this? I called AT&T's toll-free number and found out I don't have to lift a finger to keep old reliable right here on the job. I can keep on leasing or buy. So why don't you do what I'm doing during all these big changes in the telephone business? Relax.
AT&T, we set the standards.
Traveling with the Olympic team, you don't always get a chance to set your meals at a certain time during the day. You just, through the hard work and everything it takes to get ready, you're just naturally going to be hungry. And with snack foods such as Snickers, you know, you can satisfy that hunger.
Packed with fresh peanuts, peanut butter nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
The Snickers bar certainly works for me.
Official snack food of the 1984 Winter Olympics.
Carrie is so very...
different. It doesn't feel like ordinary lotion. It's concentrated. It was specially made for dry, rough skin.
Carrie is so very...
rich and emollient. It even made my rough elbows and heels soft again.
Carrie is so very...
Recommended by many dermatologists. So I'll pay more for Carrie. After all, it's the only skin I've got.
Carrie is so very...
different.
So very...
Rich.
So very...
Recommended.
Carrie is so very...
Don't you wish everything fit like Lee? Fit like Lee jeans do. Don't you wish everything fit as well as Lee jeans fit on you? Don't you wish everything felt as good? Don't you wish everything only could? Don't you wish everything fit?
Lee, the brand that fits.
Naturally, we were just kids when we saw Star Wars. And now Pebbles loves it. It's such an incredible movie. Yabba dabba doo.
Don't you wish everything fit like Lee? Fit like Lee jeans do. Don't you wish everything fit as well as Lee jeans fit on you? Don't you wish everything felt as good? Don't you wish everything only could? Don't you wish everything fit?
Lee, the brand that fits.
We get a kick out of legs, and it shows. From our heads to our toes, our legs, pantyhose, make us feel great each step we take. And it shows in our smile that legs fit our style. We get a kick out of legs, and it shows. Nothing beats a great pair of legs.
Socks are shot, threads are thin, muffler's gone. Well, come on in. There's more for your life at Sears. Where else could you change your tires? Take your aim, smooth out your ride, and catch the game. There's more for your life, for the times of your life. There's more for your life at Sears.
The only thing worse than losing the New Hampshire primary is winning the New Hampshire primary, because success does have its price. So for Wisconsin and the anxious upset stomachs that will come with thumping heads and the thumping heads that'll come with anxious upset stomachs, there are the medicines of Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer, for these symptoms of stress that can come from New Hampshire success.
Wednesday, Michael Learned, Geraldine Page, Rosanna Arquette, and Frederick Forrest in one family struggle with pride, passion, and murder. The Parade. Thursday.
She's not innocent.
A rebellious beauty with dangerous friends has Magnum racing to save her life. And...
Freeze! Freeze! How do you say freeze in Chinese?
Foreign spies con Simon and Simon into a scheme of murder. Then, on Knots Landing,
You should unfreeze your assets and let Lotus Point go through.
Gary makes a costly decision. Thursday.
This is CBS.
Hi, Kurt Gowdy here for your New England Chrysler Plymouth dealers, the Good Sport. And right now, we're watching Washington's Birthday Parade of Values, starring Plymouth Voyager, the Magic Wagon. Seating for 2, 5, up to 7 people. Voyager, front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering. Voyager, you've got a price to believe it. And like all new Plymouths and Chryslers in our parade, Voyager's back for 5 years or 50,000 miles. See your New England Chrysler Plymouth dealers, the Good Sport.
Gary Hart. We've known other times when the past threatened our future, but we acted as a generation against racial hatred, to stop the war in Vietnam, to demand a halt to the pollution of our land. We acted and we did overcome, but now our promise is slipping away. The politicians of yesterday are trading our future by asking our price instead of challenging our idealism. My candidacy is for those who still dream dreams, who will stand together once more to build an American future.
Heavy weather on Tuesday. Answers on Nightbeat.
There actually seems to be something behind this thing they call the force. It's capable of the same positive energy that a strong belief in ourselves can deliver. May the force be with us all.
Says here the temperature on Venus averages 800 degrees.
Well, let's go to the beach instead.
29 million miles away.
The beach is closer.
Here, finish this off before your ice cubes melt.
Is that what I've been drinking?
Yeah, they improved it.
That's 1 calorie? Oh, it's got that new sweetener in it.
Sweeping the planet.
Which planet?
You know, the one that's the beach.
Taste. Improved by Diet Pepsi.
Chewy, 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 Nature Valley chewy. Nature Valley chewy, granola bar.
Chewy, it's an apple.
Nature Valley chewy.
Lots of chocolate chips. Real creamy peanut butter.
Nature Valley chewy, granola bar.
100% natural goodness. No additives, no preservatives.
Chewy, 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 Nature Valley chewy. Nature Valley chewy, granola bar.
Michael, having you cater this party was a great idea. And the cheese dip is made with Velveeta? Don't you use natural cheeses?
Well, that's what's in Velveeta. Velveeta processed cheese spread is cheddar and other natural cheeses. Milk and other wholesome ingredients carefully balanced in the Velveeta process. It melts smoother, cooks easier than any chunk cheese alone.
The cheese dip was a hit.
It was nothing but Velveeta. It's all in this little yellow box.
Can Lysol disinfectant spray help cut down on colds? Some leading scientists believe disinfecting is one way to cut down on the spread of colds. Surfaces in your home can get contaminated with rhinovirus, a leading cause of cold. You touch them, rub your eyes or nose, and you can pick up a cold. Research shows that Lysol spray, sprayed on surfaces, can kill the rhinovirus. That's no guarantee your family won't catch colds. But if Lysol spray can help reduce the chances, isn't it worth it?
I teach aerobics, so I have to take good care of myself. I jog, watch what I eat, and I'm just as careful about the pain reliever I use. That's why I take Tylenol. I was first given Tylenol in the hospital. It worked great without bothering my stomach like aspirin did. So happens, Tylenol's the pain reliever hospitals use most. I can't think of a better reason to trust Tylenol.
For relief you can trust. Trust Tylenol. Hospitals do. Tylenol in regular and extra strength.
It's not over. Luke Skywalker and his friends have many more adventures ahead of them. As you can imagine, they haven't heard the last of Darth Vader. In the next film, The Empire Strikes Back, the struggle between the dark and the light side of the Force takes Luke to the far-off Dagobah system. There he encounters a strange and remarkable wizard.
You are reckless.
I'm not afraid.
You will be.
The wizard is Yoda, an 800-year-old Jedi master who joins forces with the 3 galactic musketeers in their battle against the forces of evil. In the third film, Return of the Jedi, Luke and his friends encounter the quintessential evil, the giant, slimy, intergalactic gangster Jabba the Hutt. Also in Return of the Jedi, they encounter a new kind of ally, the cuddly, lovable, tiny but effective Ewok. The saga continues. The Millennium Falcon always proving that it's more than just another space buddy. 3 times have Harrison, Carrie, and I traveled back in time to that galaxy far, far away. That's roughly 375 shooting days and 1,300,000 feet of film running through a camera. Chewie's been with us the whole time, and the 2 droids, C-3PO and R2-D2. Facing off against Darth Vader, we've had a lot of adventures, on screen and off. It began in Tunisia, North Africa, where the film crew of 130 people from England and the United States created the planet of Tatooine. It is to this strange land that the robots came after their escape from the Imperial forces. R2 and 3PO were only 2 of the 33 fully working robots created for the film. All were the creation of George Lucas, who at the time Star Wars opened was 33 years old. He had made only 2 other feature films, THX 1138 and American Graffiti. Neither film suggested the fantasy that would become R2-D2. His debut in Star Wars instantly established him as an international celebrity. He and 3PO emerged from the sketches as full-blown stars. Inside the gold armor plate of 3PO is a Shakespearean-trained British actor. Anthony Daniels gives life to 3PO. Kenny Baker does the same for R2. But the diminutive Baker is not always inside the world's most famous mechanical star. By the third film, R2 worked mostly as a mechanical, remote-controlled. Nevertheless, through special effects and skillful editing, he seemed to convey a whole range of human emotions.
My goodness!
I started writing this. I found the most intriguing thing was to take two robots and make them into human beings and make them the most interesting characters in terms of the comedy element and the... So I wanted to make the film around them, use them as a framework for the film. And I knew when I did that I would be getting myself into a lot of trouble.
33 robots on the set meant 33 dreams realized, and more than 33 nightmares experienced.
We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
Difficulties with the robots led to a loss of time, and with each location day costing about $100,000, George's affection had to be tempered with patience. The genius of Star Wars is partly expressed in the ability of mechanicals or actors in masks and costumes to communicate their feelings perfectly. Like the Wookiee.
The Wookiee actually came from my dog, Indiana, who is a big Malamute, very large, furry dog who looks a lot like the Wookiee, only slightly smaller.
Han Solo's best friend and co-pilot is played by a gentle giant of a man, Peter Mayhew. He has endowed the Wookiee with strength and tenderness.
But there's such a lot of feeling that can go in and can be expressed that it's just a nice character to do.
In this scene from The Empire Strikes Back, Mayhew, along with Anthony Daniels as 3PO, shows how actors can communicate beyond their masks.
R2 says the chances of survival are 725 to 1.
Their friends Skywalker and Solo are lost and presumed dead.
Actually, R2 has been known to make mistakes.
Well, Your Worship, looks like you managed to keep me around for a little while longer.
I had nothing to do with it.
I think you just can't bear to let a gorgeous guy like me out of your sight.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
Star Wars' celebrated cantina sequence brought a strange and motley menagerie of creatures to the screen. But they were only the forerunners to the collection of creatures that would emerge in the next two films of the trilogy. For Return of the Jedi, Lucas and his Monster Workshop created over 60 weird and strange creatures. For Jedi, Lucas created another musical combo, this one led by solo vocalist Sly Snoodles. Sly was part marionette, part rod puppet. For Carrie, Harrison, and I, working with creatures and mechanicals was sometimes a trying experience. If nothing else, it always made our time spent on the Star Wars set eventful. But even more trying and less eventful were the scenes we worked on which later were completed with the magic of special effects. For instance, we worked the Millennium Falcon from the Elstree Sound Studios outside London, England. Han Solo's freighter was Star Wars' most elaborate set. Nailed to the floor of the soundstage, the Falcon remained forever earthbound. We would, of course, in the final film, appear to be hurtling through the vastness of space.
can't you outrun
For
it?
all its sophistication as a set, the motion of the Falcon was generated by a few stagehands. The special effects process, which put us in space, began with a blue screen. What special effects people call mats were then generated. Blue screen and mats make it possible to add different backgrounds to a scene by means of multiple exposures. In the Falcon cockpit, we played out our terror of being caught in the magnetic pull of a Death Star we couldn't see. That was a graphic, and along with the star field was added later. When finally combined, the star field, the Death Star graphic, the actors on stage, and a miniature model of the Falcon also shot against blue screen, we have this completed sequence. The space-age dogfight at the end of Star Wars was derived from World War II film action as shown in Hollywood movies. Storyboards outlined the action before it was shot. Detailed models were photographed against blue screen so that a multitude of images could be superimposed over them. Special computer-controlled cameras were developed for Star Wars and subsequently improved for its sequels. These cameras made it possible to film the climactic attack on the Death Star with a freedom not previously experienced in motion picture production. By moving the camera past the lockdown models and by remembering those motions, the computer allowed for a more complex and visually dynamic photography. The surface of the Death Star until the final attack was seen only as a graphic. For the battle scenes, a miniature model was constructed. To effect attacks on the model by the rebel planes, explosives were sometimes triggered by primitive methods. It took 2 years and $3.5 million to do the Star Wars miniature optical effects. Sir Alec Guinness, A Night Playing a Night, set the theatrical tradition that inspired us to triumph over the ordeal of acting in a special effects movie. In the tractor beam sequence, in which he appears to be 100 feet in the air, Guinness is no more than 6 feet off the stage floor. To avoid building a huge and expensive set, George Lucas relied on what is called a glass painting shot. Thousands of miles from the stage in England, a California artist paints a background on glass that would later surround the scene in which Alec Guinness appears. A blank spot was left on the glass painting for the live-action scene filmed on the London stage. The glass painting was then photographed, and the scene with Alec Guinness was incorporated within it. The final effect is a masterful illusion. Darth Vader, played by actor David Prowse, is a subtle creation of many parts. He has the voice of a second actor, James Earl Jones, and is personified by the menacing breathing effects given him by the sound department.
The circle is now complete.
Special effects also helped create the drama of Darth Vader's fateful encounter with Obi-Wan. Alec Guinness enters carrying only the hilt of a sword. He's given a second sword made of special light-reflecting material. When this sword is turned to the light, the reflection will appear to be the laser beam. However, for a more dramatic effect, an animated glow is added to the laser's sword. This is called rotoscoping. Flashes of color are also printed in to enhance the scene. To prepare for Luke Skywalker's laser sword encounter with Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back, I had to study kendo and karate. I worked with a stunt coordinator and with fencing master Bob Anderson in England. He helped put the finishing touches on my technique for the carefully choreographed battle that was the climax of the second movie. Sound effects add another dimension to the laser sword fights in Star Wars. The creative sound of Ben Burt and the music of composer John Williams have played a large role in the ultimate effect of the 3 Star Wars movies on their audiences. With his creative vision and his mastery of the technology and art of film, George Lucas has made it possible for Carrie, Harrison, and me to take you on a journey to a galaxy far, far away. Along with our friends, we too have enjoyed taking that journey. At times, it seemed like more labor than love, but mostly it was a time of friendship and of joy.
Working on any movie set for an actor is both a time of excitement and tedium. We labor in a workaday world of detail and repetition. What we achieve in collaboration with the director and the writers and the special effects people, finally, hopefully, is a masterful illusion. It's an illusion that comes out of our collective imagination. For me, Star Wars has been so successful an experience because it does what all good movies must do. It also unlocks the imagination of its viewers. In that way, it becomes a journey and an adventure that we can share forever.
It gets you awake when they start to bake. The wonderful smell of Downy Flake.
Downy Flake waffles have a wonderful way of getting you awake in the morning. They toast up crisp and delicious, and that bakery smell makes them even more delicious. Downy Flake waffles, a great tasting part of your balanced breakfast.
It gets you awake when they start to bake. The wonderful smell of Downy Flake.
Hey, a whole week without women. No responsibility. I think I'll grow a beard. You think we'll survive? It'll be tough. Hey, no dishes to wash. Fishing all day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, cards all night. Oh, and I feel lucky. Yeah.
Hi, honey. You miss me?
Reach out and touch someone.
Hurry up, will you? I want to call, too.
When you can call anywhere you want, anytime you want, that's reach out and touch someone. That's AT&T.